That's,
No,
I don't know.
damn.
Yeah, it got me into comedy anyway. So now I produce it. I couldn't get any sound, so yeah. Windows 7, you get some.
Production's still shoddy at best, but hi, my name is Mickey Hughes. This is Over the Edge. It's a pre-recording of a podcast about anxiety, and we're airing tonight on Facebook Live on YouTube and as well on TikTok. So I've got Cindy Rivers here today. She's a transgender comedian. She's a TikToker. She is a social media sweetheart. She does jokes from her Jeep, and she's going to be trying out on America's Got Talent. So I'm going to bring her up right now. Hey.
Hey, this is work. I'm trying to find a good camera angle, everybody, because like I look really good on TikTok right now, but
You look amazing. I look tiny on TikTok. That's okay. Part of this show is about really messed up starting point. So
oh, good. I'm good at that. I'm good at being messed up. So
good. Yeah. Like if you feel for a moment like you might not be, like if somebody says, well, what do I have to say about anxiety? I say, you know what? Just come and do a sound check with me. And then by the time we go live, you will have tons of anxiety. You will be more than qualified.
oh, good. That's great. So yeah.
Sorry, I realized
hi,
now
everybody.
Oh no, there's a lag. Okay, so we're gonna have to pause then after I talk. So I just noticed that there's a ton of people in. You watch the TikTok chat, and I've turned off the Facebook chat. I'm just kidding. So you do. So you're a TikToker as well, which is how I actually know you more through TikTok than anything else. You are also known for doing your jokes from a Jeep.
Yes.
I can just hear both of us here. Like I can hear there's just too much of a, actually, you know what? I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to assume that you can hear me because I have a microphone. Tell me if,
I
tell
can
me if
totally
you
hear
can't,
you.
and I won't be able to hear your sound there. Let's try it this way. So how's the pandemic going for you?
It is going terrible.
It's going terrible.
It's
like this.
It was good for a while. Well, you know, it was better like in the summer and stuff. But now, like since the newer restrictions in Alberta, like about midway through December, everything's kind of been downhill. Because like it's like stricter than it was, and I've like access nothing. I'm just by myself all the time, stuck indoors.
Oh, because I remember watching your Facebook as well during the first lockdown. You weren't in Edmonton then. What are the restrictions right now that you're under? You're in lockdown like you were before. You were in just a different part. Sorry, you were in Fort McMurray.
I was in Fort McMurray. Wonderful
little
place that is. It's they are a little different. Things are a little stricter right now in the government, with the government restrictions and stuff. So like there's no, like before you can still, things were still kind of open, but there's no really, just for takeout, and there's no eat-in. All like there's no bars, so there's no comedy
right
at all. There was no hope of that, which is unfortunate because that's like my favorite.
There was a break where we were able to go out and do some shows, and we messed it up. So we're back. We all got sent back to our rooms. Were you doing live shows then, or were you still just doing online? Like June,
I did lots
July.
of live shows from the end of July. So as soon as I got back from my surgery, and until they locked us down mid-December, I was very busy.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Was it as good as you had hoped? Was it all your hopes and dreams getting back on stage?
It wasn't great. I mean, a lot of people were afraid to come out and stuff, so there was a lot smaller crowds, but there were a lot of shows happening. So, and I was the proper procedures and precautions and stuff, and everything was good. But there's just a lot of people still a little scared, I think, to come out and actually like support live entertainment right now because they don't be around people, even though the clubs are at like 50% capacity.
Yeah. Are
They just
you worried about catching COVID?
no, not at all. I
You're
mean,
not
I
at all.
don't want to catch it.
No.
I just don't think I'm going to because I'm like young and invincible. So no, um, I just don't. I don't feel like it's a big to me
Okay.
taking all the proper precautions. And if it does happen, I mean, the death rate at my age is extremely low. But I'm not going to go out and try to catch it or anything. But
Oh, okay. So you're wearing a mask and you're following the protocols to not get it. You're not like anti-mask rallies and
I am not. I did pass one once though. I drove past an anti-mask rally.
then went home
That
and
was
like,
interesting because one of them was wearing a mask. It happened. Edmonton, Alberta, everybody.
that's weird. Yeah, they're just scared of like actually catching it. I don't know. Don't infringe on my freedoms. Are you going to get the vaccine?
When it becomes available, probably. I mean, I
Oh, sorry.
didn't plan on it.
Oh, sorry. I guess what I mean is like the vaccine as it's available now, if it were available to you, would you take it?
Yeah, I would.
You would. Okay. So
Yeah, like I mean, because it's like the right thing to do. But I'm kind of lazy, so it would have to be really convenient for me.
yeah. Like if they come to
If
your
I can
house.
go get it like a flu shot, I'm all over it. That's no problem. But if I'm excuse me, if I have to make like an appointment and go to a pharmacy or a doctor or something, I'll probably be a little slack.
Okay. And
Yeah,
well, because they say this thing about allergies too. So if you have allergies, you might be a little bit more scared of taking it. So, and not to
that
put you on the
is true.
spot,
I
I just
don't
ask
have any
everybody that.
allergies, so I am allergies. It's one of my design flaws. I don't have allergies. Actually, fun. I was in hospital for surgery, and I had a blue wristband, and everybody that was there staying in the same area as me, there was like 6 of us. Everyone had a blue wristband and a red wristband, and I'm like, well, how come I don't get a red wristband? What did I do wrong? And they were like, it's allergies, and then their allergies are written on them. I'm like, oh, it's allergies now. I see. That's interesting. And one
Oh,
of them,
sorry.
one of them was allergic to Benadryl.
Really?
It's like, really, how do you be allergic to allergy medication? Blows my
Yeah.
mind.
Why? And I feel bad that for people that are allergic to things like like amoxicillin or penicillin, and like something that will get you better actually gives you anaphylactic shock. I'm actually speaking with somebody totally different almost than at the beginning of the pandemic too, because I remember in March you were going through a breakup and it was pre-surgery. And so now there's a lot of differences. How was that experience for you? And as comfortable as you want to talk.
Oh no, yeah, it was tough actually. Like the pandemic in the beginning was, well, first of all, like nobody knew what we were doing. I don't think none of us knew how to really handle it or knew how long things were going to be or whatever. But in the first few months of the pandemic, I mean, I was going through the break, which was a really long-term relationship. It was 4 years.
Oh wow!
And
was it just before the pandemic?
We lived together. No, it was during.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, fun. And and then I have 2 kids, and they moved a little further away at the time. Then I lost my part-time job that I did other than comedy, and then I lost doing all my comedy. And then my original surgery got canceled, and I had to be put on a waiting list for it to come up again. And like that all just happened like in the same few weeks, and it was a nightmare.
And then you had to go through.
And,
Alyssa.
I don't know how I don't.
Oh, I hate the leg. I'm so sorry. Sorry, Alyssa. Sorry, Issa kicks in. They say, "Oops, that's rough."
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, it was a rocky start, and then I started to try to do some online material, to keep my sanity and stuff, and that was working out. I managed to. I mean, that's when I started doing the TikToks, and I did quite a bit of online shows, and I started like doing a bunch of like online shows that aren't really things we had access. So it's like you can do a show with a bunch of comics from Vegas and Los Angeles, and it's their show, and you're just on it because it's online. And
Mhm.
so I actually got a lot of American exposure, more so than I had before, because of the pandemic. So that's kind of neat.
Where do you find your fan base is mostly out of? Because you get to see the analytics pretty clearly on TikTok.
But it's mostly, yeah, it's Canada for sure, because that's just where my biggest exposure live, right? So,
Yeah, you would
I
think
do
that.
find like,
Sorry, like 60% like single moms in the Midwest are the ones that follow me. So that
oh
like a
yeah,
lot
so
of I just have a lot of Americans. That's
have
why I was
a,
curious.
I have a lot of LGBTQ people following me. I have a
A
very
bit of
big
an
following in that range, which is pretty cool. And yeah, like it's the age range that follows me is pretty young though. I mean, I'm like old comparatively, but whatever. As long as they're gonna laugh at it, I don't really care. As long as they're
Oh,
not,
exactly. Like
yeah.
I'm huge
But it's
with
good.
like the 15-year-old population. Oh, actually I have a TikTok here I want to show because I actually like I just started loving you over your TikToks. Like your openness, your candidness, your jokes from the Jeep. This was actually one of the ones I really liked. I think I gave it a little bit of hype, but let's have a look at this here.
I'll tell you where I wouldn't want to work though if I had to get a job. I wouldn't want to work at a postal office, a post office. Not a place for me. Hey everybody, Cindy Rivers, transgender comedian. So a little while ago I had to get a part-time job because, you know, comedy thing's going so well. But because I was new, I had to wear a name tag, but I didn't have my name yet, right? So it said trainee. Trainee. That's mighty close to another word.
Oh no, I want it to go away now. I'm really bad at this stuff. But no, I absolutely love that. I think you had reposted
Yeah,
it. Was that your most popular TikTok?
that was my most popular TikTok. Like
Oh,
I reposted it a couple of times, so like every so many weeks or couple of months I'll repost it again because it hits a new audience, you
mhm.
know. But like initially when I posted that, I think it was like almost 30,000 views or something. It's
Yeah,
pretty
that
it's
was
decent.
it's pretty good. You do what I do is like if you end up with a good one, you end up putting it on Facebook too, or sometimes they don't translate as well, so I'll put one on Instagram or something.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you just take the
It's I
good
like
ones.
to spread them
Cross
out as much
pros.
as possible.
You're also very good at the online performances. I know a lot of people a lot of comedians didn't make the change over to start doing like Zoom and stuff, and you were right in there right from the beginning. And do you think you would still do online performances because of the range that you get now that you can work with Americans? And because we really
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
work with
no, for
Americans
sure.
before.
I still have that's like I still have some things booked for online. I'm still booking online shows and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's I'm obviously still planning on doing those. And for some people and some of the businesses or organizations that are coming back a little slower, they're still going to be wanting online gigs too, which is nice. So like I have stuff coming up for the Alberta Teachers Association, right? So even though they're like in schools and back and stuff, and if the restrictions loosen, they'll still want a show, but like online. So I'm like, okay,
Okay.
whatever. I'll just keep doing it. I don't care. Um,
Yeah.
I know a lot of comics say things like, I don't want to do online shows. It doesn't work because I can't hear the audience and I need the laughter and the feedback. And it's like super helpful to have that. Totally a necessity to do it properly. But I just like laugh at myself and pretend other people are laughing at me. And that helps
Okay.
feel good.
I don't think I haven't been part of like or on a show, part of a show that hasn't been like actually just like bombed by somebody else. So I mean that can really throw it. If you think somebody getting up and going out for a cigarette halfway through a set, wait till you watch somebody drumming or show a penis. So that was,
That's a online show, all right. Wow.
yeah, you haven't been part of that when somebody's busted
No,
into
we
the
had
Zoom
no
or
break-ins. Everybody was all pretty good about it.
oh no, yeah, like everybody that was there was pretty good. I just that could absolutely throw it. I think that you said that things are going to be opening, like as things open up and loosen up. Like we just got put into another lockdown that got extended, and I think we're going to end up with a curfew or something here. So we're kind of down for the count. That's why I ask. You know, do you see this as changing your performances or comedy, live comedy? in general drastically later? Or do you think that you're still going to be doing the online stuff? Like, how do you see performances happening, like, after a year from now? Do you think they're going to change drastically? Do you think they're moving to online?
I think some people who've carved out a little space for themselves online will be able to keep doing that to some capacity. I mean, I would much rather prefer it be live as much as humanly possible on stage in front of people,
Mm-hmm.
because it is different. The atmosphere is different. The energy is different. You can read you can't read a room when you can't see anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to do crowd work. I mean, or do any sort of interaction. It's very difficult, comparatively speaking. So it's much harder to like just to have fun and include the audience. It's just more just material online, just get through my material kind of deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't like it as much, but I'll do it for as long as I need to.
You'll do it because
So
it's comedy and you love to do it.
yeah, it's my like it's so like comedy was like my career. I did comedy full time before
Yes.
the pandemic, right? So it was like my thing. So it's just somebody kicking you in the head and going, "Ha, pick a new career now." All of a sudden, and I'm like, "No, that's not how it works."
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're
No,
very
you pick a new
popular and
career.
you're very good and you're very well received and you're very funny. And it looks like you're transferable. I mean, you take your stage stuff and you put it into videos and you do it online and you're like the whole thing. That's why I asked you if it was okay if I call you social media sweetheart, and because you have all these other things going on. So, but yeah, no, you're awesome. Do you find that, because I know that you were down during the first shutdown, that post surgery, have things been better for you, or health wise, or anything? Have you, like, because we're kind of shutting down this time, are you in a better place?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely much better. I mean, I'm healed. I don't hurt this time, so that's a plus.
No physical pain. No physical pain. Yeah, no, that would be. I think that's probably number one on my list.
Yeah, it was pretty uncomfortable too, and like I was supposed to be off work for 3 months, and like or whatever my work would have been, which was comedy. So like almost like bed rest ish, sort of like down quite a bit. I was supposed to be, and I hit the ground running. Like after a month, I was less than a month after surgery. I went and did an outdoor show in Red Deer. Yeah, which is like a 7-hour drive from Fort Mac. So
Oh
that was
wow,
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
Um,
And if you know anything about Alberta, Red Deer and Fort Mac are great places.
yeah, you mentioned that before. What's wrong with Fort McMurray? I've got a friend out there. She's there's lots of work. That's where you go if you're from Ontario. You're looking for work. Apparently, you go to Fort McMurray.
That's where you go if you're from anywhere looking for work, I think. That's where you go. I'm originally from Newfoundland. That's how I ended up in Fort McMurray.
Are you shell
Right? So
shocked from the scene in Fort McMurray now to the comedy scene that's in Edmonton?
not really. I started comedy in Fort Mac a few years ago, but it was like, I mean, it's small and there's like not much of a scene. There's not much opportunity for stage time. So like Edmonton has been my home base for comedy for like a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
Like I was driving to Edmonton 3-4 times a week
Okay.
to
Yeah,
do
well, you might.
comedy, which is like a 4.5 hour drive. So it's part of the reason I moved to Edmonton.
How long have
Just
you been
everything's
doing
a little more
comedy?
central and easier for me from here.
So I'm still trying to do this with listening to. I guess what I'm getting from you is about 4 seconds after you said it. Uh, so I'll go to some of the questions here that I sort of put down. Also that I just tend to ask people just in general. But so you're handling things okay. You're better post surgery. When was the last time? When was the last time you cried? Are your feelings manageable right now?
Wow. The last time I cried was probably about 4 weeks ago, which is like phenomenal for me. It's huge. It's a really big thing.
Why?
For
Because
me
it's been
to
4 weeks since you cried, or the fact that you did
yeah.
cry?
No, the fact that it's been 4 weeks, because like I could just break down and wail at any time at a lot of different points in
Yeah.
my life before I came out, and then all the stuff that came with coming out, which is like, wow, a whole new world that I wasn't ready for, that I thought I was, but I was not, and and stuff.
Why
So
not?
now, but I like
Sorry, when did you come out, Cindy?
4 years ago.
It was 4 years ago. Okay.
Yeah. I was 30 when I was 30 years old,
Yeah.
with a career and 2 kids and a house, and I was married. But yeah.
And then a pandemic comes along during your recovery time, so you kind of have to be off anyway. So things are kind of turning up Cindy, maybe.
A little bit. I mean, I miss like, corporate season. So like Christmas shows and stuff for comedians is a really busy time of year. It's like it's when we make money, right?
Mhm.
Because we charge more for the private corporate shows, and we get to headline these shows more frequently because it's like so many different companies having them. And this year, I lost in December, end of November to Christmas, $12,000 worth of shows canceled. So
Oh, wow.
it's a big hit.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That do you have a hard time now just because you did it full time before, or do you find it easier? You just learned how to kind of nail down negotiating and pricing, and all of that was kind of chaotic anyway, but then now you have to sort of redetermine what your worth is on an online show. Now what do you charge,
Yeah,
right? Because now you don't
exactly.
have
And
to travel. But now you can, and again, sorry?
No.
Oh, okay. Because now you don't have to travel or you don't have to cover those costs. But now is it that like, do you just write all new material for a corporate and then, do you do a headlining set? Like, do you have to write something new for every new show that you do?
No. I just like depending on the level of corporate clean or the cleanness that they require. My company's pretty clean anyway, so
It
it's
is.
pretty usable just about anywhere. I do try to something specific for the group that I am working with, but it'll only be like maybe 5-7 minutes worth of material and 50 minutes of material I already have, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm
don't
like,
have
yeah,
to
like
write.
I think I have 27 minutes of total material. I'm like, oh yeah, an hour. And, I just like to take my best hour and just add to it. Sorry, that was just a really shitty joke. Sorry, I didn't do it full time like you were.
Well,
Sorry.
it's not easy to do full time. It was tough. It was a tough thing to build up.
Yeah. Who's your favorite comedian?
Bo Burnham.
Okay. It's funny. I was very worried about walking in an emotional minefield. And I didn't want to ask questions or, say anything, but you're just like, yeah, no, I'm good. No, it's good. The pandemic. Yay. It caught you on a good day, which would be way better than if I caught you if you're upset or distraught. You look absolutely amazing, by the way. And I'm going to tell you the reason why we're doing the TikTok live and the Facebook live is because I know that with some people, I just can't do TikTok because I don't want to have a lifetime ban. And I'm even just trying to like watch my language and stuff. Yeah. So there's been some guests and I think, okay, I'm going to go onto TikTok and do this. And I'm like, yeah, no. Have you had a ban yet from TikTok?
No, I had a couple of videos that were like they weren't showing anymore. They took the videos down, I guess, but they were because I do edit other people. But trans, there's a lot of trans TikTok creators that do get banned, and they have to go through like an appeal process because I don't know if you guys y'all can't see, but TikTok Live has all these comments from trolls and haters. Like they just exist. It's a thing, so I don't mind. But these trolls and haters go and report our TikToks and get them banned, even though there's nothing bad about them. We're just literally transgender in the TikTok, and people are like, I don't like it, so they get us banned. So we deal with
feel
that.
like there's no rule or something like where you can actually get a ban just by being reported.
Yeah, no, it's like a bunch of them. There's a group of trolls. They all say and do the same things over and over again. So TikTok, just like the algorithm picks up that like 50 people said that this was bad, so we're banning it. They don't actually look into what it is. So then we have to go through this appeal process. Then they actually look at it and then they go, oh, okay, never mind.
Oh, okay. See, and you've gone through the process and won the appeal. I've only ever lost appeals, and I've had a couple of them, and one was a 30-day. So I just think,
yeah, no. I know a lot of other trans creators that it's a pain in the butt and it really sucks, but we do get them back usually because there's nothing to report. It's literally us going, hey, we're transgender and we're normal people and we're okay. And then people are like, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. You can't be
Oh.
normal people.
Yeah, I posted something recently with just some hate comments. I mean, we all get it for different reasons, right?
Oh,
Like I get the like I'm old or whatever, right? Like whatever side of TikTok I happen to be on. But I hadn't even thought about that. Like you don't get to say like, oh, I wonder if this is crossing a line, or if this is, you could just be you and still end up with hate and bans and having to file appeals. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Are
happens
you
quite frequently.
Do you qualify for the Creator Fund if it comes to Canada? I don't know. I don't have an account in good standing.
You don't have an account in good standing?
You can't
What
if you
happened
had
to you?
I have 3 bans. I'm fine. Like I can do it, but I would never be
it's
able to
because of
join
the
the
ban.
Creative Yeah, I wouldn't be able to. I lost too many appeals. But I wouldn't be able to, but I mean, I hear it's not like I would be able to retire or even buy a sandwich really on what I would make based on their
Right.
views. But are you looking for them to come to Canada? Would you be joining the Creator Fund, stepping up the game there a little bit?
I don't know. Like maybe I don't know. I mean, it
Yeah,
would
because
be
you,
nice. I would be nice to do. I think I would like to, but I don't like my following is still smallish. I'm still quite a small creator, um, because I don't reach a broad audience. It's a very like how the algorithm works, and you get mixed in with your little niche market. Well, some of the markets are much bigger than transgender people, so like our market's kind of small.
yeah. Well,
I can appeal to a lot more people, but it's just harder to get them to see me first.
I think what needs to be said as well is I have no problems jumping on the trends. I have no problems recreating the videos. Like I have no problems doing that. All of your material is 100% yours, right? You do all original materials, right? You're
Almost.
not.
I mean, I lip sync sometimes just for
Oh
like
yeah, I was shocked when I saw that. I was like, "What? You're lip syncing?" You know what? That's what the algorithm picks up, right? So you play the game or you don't. Like it's sort of.
yeah. So I did need to play along a little bit, and I do some lip sync. I try to keep it really positive and like affirming type lip syncs, things that'll
Yeah,
lift people up if they read it or whatever,
yeah, because you get
or if they
reported
watch it.
anyway. Yeah. And let's see.
There's already been lots of great.
Sorry, I just noticed there's like a ton of people in my
There's already been lots of great comments in TikTok. If you guys are watching on Facebook, you're not watching on TikTok. There's been a lot of hate comments already. This is normal. It happens.
I don't know. I would just go through every single one, block everyone, and ban every single one of them.
They create new accounts. It only takes a second to make a new account with no picture, and then they come back and start again if you do that.
Oh, so you even already know that. So I think part of your thing is that you've got. I mean, you're tough. I don't know if I could. I would probably. I don't know if I could do this if people were making hate comments to me, like just because of who I am.
Yeah,
Online.
It's something to get used to. I mean, I went through a lot of really hard times and difficult times because of it, but I certainly I don't care for them anymore. It doesn't bother me as much. Half of these like kids, first of all, on TikTok and stuff, they're like 13 or 14 years old, and they just think they're trying to be funny by saying this stuff. They're probably not even anti-trans in any way, shape, or form. This is just what they're doing because they're 14 and stupid. And
Right.
so they really don't bother me. When I do a big TikTok live myself, and I don't know, I'm usually online for a couple hours when I do that, and we get quite a few people come and go, a couple thousand maybe. And when they start being all like little jerks in the comments, I turn into a comedian, and I literally make fun of them.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
I guess
they're gonna heckle me, I'm gonna make fun of them. And then the audience usually really enjoys it when I do that. So.
Oh, exactly. Well, that's the thing too, is people will come to your defense, and so I mean, you do have a very strong community that clearly has your back. And I just think I'm on trans TikTok because it just seems like there's a ton of trans on TikTok. Like that's I would go for like weeks where that's probably the majority of my stuff. So I guess I can see like either what I'm liking or participating with anyway. I even did a couple of duets, but
Oh,
so
yeah.
maybe
I mean, it's TikTok has given a voice to trans people that we and a platform that we didn't really have for visibility before. So a lot
You
of
feel it? Like,
trans.
what do you mean, like with Instagram and stuff? You didn't feel like you had that?
No, it's just it wasn't the same. I mean, definitely wasn't to the same level. I find a lot of the trans creators on TikTok are able to share their stories much more efficiently and easily and get it to more people. And there's like a whole community that exists within TikTok that I don't think Instagram really fully developed that way for our community. But
No, that's something I found too. Yeah, Instagram is, I don't find it social. Like I can't tell you any friends that I've made on Instagram or who I know
right,
now or know better because of Instagram. It's either because I already knew them on Facebook, but TikTokers will follow you everywhere. TikTokers will join your Instagram and add you on social media and follow you on YouTube and
yeah, well, they do. They're everywhere, and like I even get friend requests on Facebook and stuff. I'm like, oh, look at that. I don't know you.
yeah.
That's fun. But yeah, they're really good, and I think because of the talks like that I make, people get to know me, and then they're like, "Hey, I know you. I know who you are," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know
That's a very
you."
strong feeling to, yeah, I don't know you. What that's a strong
That's
feeling
true.
too, like you sort of even have a camaraderie, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's just it throws me for a loop sometimes because people are like, "Ah," and I'm like, "I don't. Am I supposed to know you?"
Yeah.
I feel really
Is it,
bad that I don't, and then they're like, "TikTok," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool."
yeah,
Um,
if I have like five mutual friends, I just usually just add them anyway. What would you give for advice to somebody who is maybe like trans or otherwise, just even in the same community, if they were telling you that they were experiencing a lot of pressure and stress? I mean, this is kind of a depressing time, and not to bring you down. I've just been in a shit place, so that's just sort of where I'm going with that. So I'm asking, so if somebody's trans going through what you were going through, even in the summer, what advice do you give your friends to get them through like the hate comments and stuff and everything that's going on right now on your TikTok?
I will say that. So I'll tell you what a lot of people say. How about that? Let's do that.
I'd
So
appreciate that.
I'll tell you what a lot of people say. So I'll like even if, certain days I'll get a certain amount of hate, and I'm like, you know what, I can't deal with it today, and I'll make a post about it and be like, I'm so frustrated. This is happening. Blah blah blah, whatever. And then people often say this to not just me but other trans people, like, oh, don't that's not a you problem. That's a them problem. Like, yeah, okay, but that does not help me in any way, shape, or form. I don't care whose problem it is. I don't like what they're saying to me. You know what I mean? You can tell me it's their problem. I can fully understand as an adult that I am fully aware that it is their problem, not my problem. But they're still making me feel like garbage. So saying that is really not helpful in any way, shape, or form. Um, and a lot of times people will say, "Oh, don't worry about it. You're beautiful." I'm like, I didn't say I was ugly. I said I had a penis. I didn't say I was ugly. All right. Like it's not the same thing. It's not. It's so a lot of times people. I know they're trying to be nice and trying to give you that help, but I mean, realistically, when it comes to hate comments, the best thing to do for or to help, or for even a trans person to ask for, is just someone to listen. That's 90% of the time we want someone to listen or agree with us. Like, yeah, that does suck. I'm sorry that happens. That's pretty much it. That's the best thing, right? It's not
Yeah.
like there's nothing else anyone can do. They're not going to change anybody's minds um, or like go beat somebody up for us. But so I mean, the best thing we can get is, oh, that sucks. I'm sorry that happens to you. That's it. Um, and like speak up for trans people or any LGBTQ plus community members or any race. If any of that stuff comes up, speak up on their behalf. Sometimes they don't feel safe to do that. You know what I mean? So if you see someone getting misgendered purposely or negatively in public, or if you see somebody calling out another race for like no good reason in public and stuff like that, just be that person to go, hey, whoa, 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 this ain't cool. You can't do that.
Hmm.
I mean, oh, look, I had a comment. I'm going to do this for fun, everybody. This comment says, are you going to get the surgery? All right, I'm going to tell you guys all three things you should never ask a trans person. Ready? Three things. Top three
Okay.
things. Every trans person will agree. Trans woman, anyway, will agree. We do not ask about our old name.
It's dead name.
Or dead name, however you would like to refer to it.
Sorry. Yeah.
Don't ask if it's real hair. And don't ask about my genitals there, Captain William.
Yeah.
Are you going to surgery?
Who the
So a lot of
hell
people,
asks? Who the hell
within
asks
minutes
about
of,
genitals? Well,
within minutes of meeting people, they're like, "Whoa, do you have a penis?" And I'm like,
oh God,
"Oh, I don't think you'd ask anybody else that question. Why are you
no.
so obsessed with my genitals?" Um, yeah, but for the record, there, William, you missed part of the conversation. All right, and I have a vagina. Yeah, you can go look
For
that
the
up. All right.
record, that wasn't one of the questions I said. Is it okay if I ask you?
Oh no, it's okay. No, I like talking about it because I like telling people. I like the a lot of people don't have a lot of experience with being around trans people. I mean, it's getting better as life goes on, and generationally speaking, things tend to get learned more and better and better. But I don't mind people asking those questions, so I can say, "Hey, tell you what, I'm going to satisfy your curiosity, and I'm
Well,
going
no,
to
you
tell
make
you."
jokes about it. Like
I
that's
do,
what
I
I see you
do.
do. You hand them their asses. Can I say that? Am I going to get reported? Am I blocked now?
No,
Like you hand them their asses with their own questions or with their own, like just with your spin on everything, and that's amazing because as somebody with really high anxiety, like myself, being able to turn around and make it into a joke, I find incredibly therapeutic. Like it's fun, right? I'm told like dark humor is actually really good for you. It helps you get it out, right? It's your outlet. So you just sort of turn it around and use it as fuel.
yeah, exactly. That's what I like doing. And usually, after a show or whatever, a bigger show or a live show, people are like, "Wow, that's just it's so cool," and it makes so much sense. I'm like, "Yeah, so we're accidentally learning. That's great. That's what I'm aiming to do." And this guy, are you arguing with me now? This comment? You just told us you have a member. First of all, I said I had a penis, not a member. All right, it's not a club. Okay, we don't join up. Settle down there, Captain.
Say
Second of all, I
please,
said I used to have a penis.
please say it's live for me because I want to raise her up. I'm getting tons of support comments right now, by the way.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I hope you guys are following Cindy Rivers Comedy on TikTok and as well. It's the same name on Instagram as well. Like, I want to punch some of those people. Sorry, that's incredibly.
Oh, it happened.
And if you're like, oh, yeah, it happens. Somebody like,
This guy, he's still going. He's 100% straight too. He says, wife and kids. He has many friends in the community. That's good. I don't know what that means. Oh, no
yeah,
hate, no hate. All right, so don't ask your other friends that question. Then you're learning.
yeah.
Good job, William.
Is it a white guy?
So yeah,
I don't see
anyway, I
that.
like to satisfy curiosity, so I won't tell people not to ask me those questions. But then when they do ask those questions, I will answer them, but I'll tell them why they're not supposed to ask anybody those questions.
Oh, that's good. That's like a contingency plan for when people are rude and you know how you're going to answer it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
For the most part.
I
I mean, I don't usually do I'll joke about it a lot in person on stage or live or like that, but like in a private conversation, I don't usually I'll only joke about it or like make it sassy or rude if I need to for the most part. I'd
Well,
rather just like
I see one lives all the time. What are your lives about? Like, what do you like to do the TikTok lives? What do you?
so I'll do some comedy sometimes, a little bit, but it's like really weird being a comedian because it's like you get, again, all these people they come up, they go, "You're not funny." I'm like, not telling jokes. I don't understand. We're talking about
Mhm.
no, I hope I'm not funny, like, and so I have to navigate that whole thing. So a lot of times what I do is just talk, and I literally just talk. I don't know why they show up. Beats me, but they come, and then they're like, "When are you doing a TikTok live?" And I'm like, "I don't know, later." But then we just talk, and then if I find myself running out of something to talk about, I'll tell a few jokes, or I'll make fun of the usernames when people join. That's really fun for me, trying to pronounce the usernames because they're really
It is
weird.
because people are showing up that I don't know. I think I've got about 6,000 users online right now. Not in the live, but the like people that are clicking, and I haven't been on that much lately. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to read those. But all of like the comments that I'm getting like through my TikTok and through the Facebook are actually just been very positive. So I'm super happy about that.
Well, that's good. No, the haters are usually invisible group of people that are like, I don't even have a real profile, and my username is username with 12 digits.
Yeah, I'm following
You know,
6
they don't.
people and I don't have any content. You're like, yeah, thanks for coming out. What's your experience, or do you have any experience with, I mean, obviously, like with stress, with everything you've been through this year, with the breakup and everything, have you ever been to the edge? Have you ever gone over the edge? Have you ever been to a point where you just thought you just can't handle it? And what'd you do?
I so when I first came out 4 years ago, I did attempt. I did have an attempt twice. I attempted twice. So yeah, there was that. It's actually part of the reason that I did come out publicly at the time, is because it was there was no middle ground. There was no more big secret or hiding or whatever. I decided that being transgender was worse than being dead, so I was gonna kill myself. And I failed twice. So when I was in the hospital, I decided to come out instead. Here I am.
Have you been? Have you been back to that spot since you came out? Was that your answer?
I've been back there, not exactly, but it's something, not to that level. No more attempts. Contemplation still happened lots over the last few years for different reasons, and it's part of this quarantine and lockdown. One of the biggest things for me is being alone with myself and thinking, and I'm not the best person to be alone with myself for a long period of time.
Yeah, like I say, people are like, I'm good in small quantities, so it sucks if you end up going long, but because you have to spend a lot of time. There's just a lot of downtime right now. I don't know if you've noticed. I've got a tattoo. Do you have one of these?
I
Do you know what that
I
is?
see it though. Oh
Do you see
yeah,
it?
it's the semicolon.
It's the semicolon, and that's for, I mean, it just means you'd have like an open dialogue for mental health and addictions. And the semicolon is actually specifically for the girl that came up with it. She was actually from Calgary, and her father committed suicide. And this was like 11 or 12 years ago. I believe that's when the movement started. And it means the semicolon is something an author uses when, they could have ended the sentence, but they chose not to. So it actually means a continuation. So just when you're talking about your story, that's what it sort of sounded like, sort of as a continuation. And I'm very, very sorry that you went through that, or that it got so drastic for you then.
Yeah, it was an interesting time. I looking back on it now, I think it's really sad, not for me, but I think it's really sad that not only me, but a lot of other trans individuals and trans youth especially think this way today, that I was 100% determined that being dead was better than coming out as trans. Just knew that as a matter of fact. There was no way I could live trans. I needed to kill myself. And
what did your kids say? Sorry, how did your kids react when you told them that?
They don't know that. They know that I came out, and they know that I'm out, obviously. I have a really good relationship with my kids. They're still pretty young though. But they didn't know about the exact issues that happened. So
with the attempt aside, because everybody reacts, like your friends and family would all react to that differently. As a general, just overlooking the situation, did you find that coming out was well received by family and friends, or did you find that, like, was there a continuation of the battle, or were you able to let some of the stuff go then and sort of get some allies in your own circle?
It was okay. Nobody was against me, we'll say, but nobody was really helpful or for it either. It was more like, oh, okay, we hear what you're saying. That's fine. Do your thing. But leave us out of it. You know.
Did you have somebody to go through it with you at the time, or were you on your own?
I had my ex-partner, the one that I went through the breakup with. Um, I met her like very shortly after I came out, and I needed somewhere to live, so we were friends, and she had a house, so I lived there, and then we just became more than friends. But she was pretty much my only support for a long time.
You have supports around you now. Actually, I already know that. 'Cause I already know there's an entire community that hypes you up, and
I have like so many supports now. It's been phenomenal. Like, I mean, it's a really difficult thing, and nobody knows how to do it. Nobody knows how to come out. Nobody knows how to be trans, and nobody knows how to be good at it. I don't think. But like I didn't have a sweet clue, and I feel like if I had more confidence or if I understood it better when it did come out, it would have been a lot different. But like I let people do certain things, say certain things, act certain ways because I didn't really know or feel comfortable enough to not. Which and I didn't have anybody that even really knew it. Like I had one support, but I mean, she's not transgender. She doesn't fully understand. I mean, I love all the allies and the support from all the allies, but if you're not trans or anywhere like a non-binary or something along under the trans umbrella, then you just don't fully understand. And it's just not possible to understand without having those feelings of dysphoria and going through those things. So it's not a bad thing. So, but it's I didn't understand either because I mean, the reason I came out so late in life was because I couldn't come out earlier because I just could not. It was not a thing. I'm from a 500-person town in Newfoundland. That is not going to happen.
I don't want to be that person that's sort of like the obvious question, but like when did you know? Were you walking around with this secret for like obviously for a very long time, or is that what was happening? Is that what you were going through?
It took a little while for me to fully understand and figure out what was going on. But when I knew something was up, for the most part, I was probably 8.
Wow.
Yeah, so I carried that around for quite a bit. Yeah, for a long time, actually.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
8
it was just
to 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 26 years of or 20, I don't even know how many years. It's just a lot. 26, yeah. A lot of years of carrying around that, which is this really weird big secret in your head, by the way. It's not to anybody else because mind readers aren't real, but you think they are sometimes. That's what I thought.
You're worried
I
that
was just
people
like, I
knew.
can't think about things because maybe somebody will figure it out, or you know, like I went through a large period of my early adult life being hyper masculine. So like hyper masculine, you know, like manlier the better, the spitting and drinking and I don't know, whatever guys like, cars, I don't know. But
Were
like,
you really like did you ever take on the other sort of persona where so you were hyper masculine, were you transphobic?
no.
Or did you know? No. Okay.
No, I was hyper masculine. I was always really open because like even going through high school and stuff where I'm from, there's not like we didn't have a lot of open or any really open LGBTQ plus people. There were a couple of people that everyone called gay or whatever, you know, but coming out back then, not there anyway. But I was always like, nah, I'm cool. I don't really care how people feel. That's how I always looked at it. That's how I always acted about it. I was always like, I don't really care if people are gay. It doesn't matter to me at all. I don't care. I don't care if they're trans. It's it. You know, and people were just like, oh, okay, whatever. Even if they hated it, they'd be like, oh, okay, you just don't care. That's good.
Yeah.
And just like nobody really, I wasn't going to pretend to hate it because like that level of internalized transphobia, I think would have been the death of me probably. So.
That's what I was wondering because you seem very carefree and very live and let live, and who cares? Just let them say whatever they want in the comments. It doesn't matter, right? It's sort of like water off a duck's back. But you said that you were when you were like super masculine.
Yeah, well, I was super masculine presenting. I mean, I'm a very soft person, emotionally, and I'm pretty squishy. So,
Squishy.
But like I'm a soft person.
Like, I'll mess you up. I'm so sorry.
I was always a really soft person, you know. So like I was quick to cry and a little more emotional than the other guys, I guess. And but like presenting wise, like beard and big and manly work and like their hobbies, stuff like, I don't know, cars or snowmobiles or whatever. Like I played that game for like ever. Like, but it was like so fake. Like I can't even imagine now. Like I'm like, how did I even do that? I don't even know how I did that. Nobody knew, really? Why were you guys surprised? This is horrible. I hate this stuff. Like,
Was anybody not
tools.
surprised?
Tools.
Was anybody like, I knew it?
Nobody. Everybody's like, no, that is not, you're wrong. You are incorrect. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty correct.
Yeah. Well, you had a lot of practice. I mean, from 8 years old, you had a lot of practice at hiding it. So all that meant was just that you were really good at it. I've had some friends come out, and I'm just like, yeah, we all kind of, we knew.
Oh yeah. There are definitely people like that. Nobody really knew. Like I said, it wasn't, to me, it was never going to be a thing. It just wasn't possible. Like we had like 13 channels growing up and like no internet for most of my teenage years. Like we couldn't really learn about things or know or find other. Besides, if you Google like transgender back then, I'll tell you what you're getting. Porn, not getting information.
Really?
That's for sure. And if you try to watch anything on TV that's got somebody gender variant, it's a dead hooker on CSI. That's what we knew trans people as.
You know what? You're right. That is what it was like growing up.
Yeah. And so like it wasn't possible to have these feelings. Was like just impossible. It was just never. It's just not going to ever be a thing. And when it did become a thing, it was really weird and hard. Now it's easy. Now I'm like, yeah, I don't really care. People can do whatever they want. But like in the beginning, I was really afraid to be in public because people used to stare at me a lot and stuff. I can flow through a crowd pretty unnoticed now for the most part. So it's not really a big deal. But back then, I didn't know how to act properly. Not that you have to act a certain way, but I was acting scared. That gives off a vibe when you're around a lot of people. They can tell you're scared. And or if I'm already 6 feet tall and I wear heels, that's like 6'4". Okay, that's like people are gonna look when you're 6'4". Mm-hmm. They're gonna start putting clues together then, because they're gonna be staring at you, going, wait a minute.
Do you think people act differently now, or it's different when you walk through a crowd because they're more accepting than they were? Like the crowd changed, you didn't change. Like in the last.
No, I think I've evolved slightly.
Yeah.
It happens. Like I didn't know how to do. I couldn't. Not that everybody has to, but like I couldn't do makeup very well. I didn't know how to dress myself properly.
When are you doing makeup tutorials? I'm 44. I still don't know how to do makeup, and your makeup is always pretty awesome.
It's shield. It's like armor now, right? So it's like the better my makeup, the less people are going to notice. And for the most part, they don't until I start talking. Because my voice is a giveaway. On here, you'll see it all the time, especially when I do my own lives. People are like, wait a minute, I'm confused. And I'm like, yeah, okay, it's the voice. We get it. We know. You can hear me. It's fine. We're not deaf. All right, settle down.
Well,
but
that's why I asked you, like, how do I introduce you? Because all of your TikToks are this Cindy Rivers, transgender comedian here. I'm like, oh, like, and that's why you just throw it out there. You're like, that way, I guess, nobody's gonna ask. And
it's like so I every comedy show I open. I have the same opener, and like within the first 30 seconds, we're gonna get that junk out of the way, and people are gonna have a laugh, and then we're gonna move on. And I can do the rest of my show. Somebody said to me once, why, like maybe just try not bringing it up. Don't address it. I'm like, no, because then the audience is going to feel robbed. They're going to be like, seriously? You're not going to talk about this. There's something going on here. You're not going to talk about this? So I feel like I need to get that out of the way. And the reason I do it on TikTok is because that's how I did it first when I started TikToks. And I stopped doing it. I just started carrying on with them just without, hey everybody, Cindy Rivers, transgender comedian here, which is how they all start. people started messaging me going, "Why aren't you saying it? Why aren't you saying it anymore? That's like your catchphrase. My heart's breaking because you're not saying it." So I just started saying it again.
That's almost why I put it in the beginning, because that's just, it's sort of like part of your, it's part of your title. It's part of who you
Yeah,
are with your jokes in a Jeep. It's just, it's the whole, yeah, I think if you didn't say it, it would actually come off. You'd be
yeah.
like, why
So
aren't you
I just,
saying it?
I'm like, I can keep it going now. It's my thing. So
Yeah.
I do say it. I don't say it like that at a comedy show because I want people to hear me talk, so I can do one of my favorite jokes, which is about my voice. I usually
Would you
start
be
off
able
with a
to,
throwaway.
would you say
Yeah, I'll
the
do it.
joke here or?
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
So I usually start off with like something like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna jump in pretty quick. I want to." Sorry, whoa, 1 second. It's weird without an audience, and it's just in the middle. Hey guys, I want to get something out of the way pretty quick. All right, out of time. So I just want you to know that sometimes people do look at me. Okay, they do look at me funny, and I don't tell so fast. And it's weird. I'm gonna figure that out. Um, but if you are wondering what's my voice, though, I'm actually I was. And then people usually get a good laugh out of that, and I'll be like, "No, seriously, I do my left nut for a more feminine voice and my right one." Right, and then I go on from there. But I just get it out, and then I'll be like, "Hey, I'm transgender. If you guys are wondering, okay, if that's what it is. If you guys are wondering, I'm transgender, and I'm still transgender. If you're not wondering, because it really doesn't change based on wondering." Yeah, and it just kind of goes
But
from there. But I
at
like
least
to do
you're not
that. Get
wondering
it out of the way.
anymore.
Everybody's happy. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, sorry, it's like I just got the last half of the joke over here. I really hope that this, I really hope that all the audio comes through okay. If not, I'm going to ask you for the video of the for the TikTok. I have to remember too, if I'm watching Zoom comedy or if I'm watching people do comedy, like I have to like remember like that you guys always love your laughers. I'm one of those like laugh in my head people, so I'm always like, I realize that's so incredibly unsatisfying if I'm the one you're telling a joke to.
That's okay. It's online. We have a hard time dealing with it.
Yeah, I want to thank you very much for being on. What I'll do is I'll wrap it up and I'll cut this down to a 20 or 30-minute tight set. It's just going to be you talking. I'm just kidding. And what I'll do is I'll sign off. And I just wanted to thank you so much for being here and being open. And you're vulnerable and you're chatty and you're out there. And I'm in awe. Like that is just so like I don't want to say brave. It's not brave. You're very. I can see why you're a good entertainer. I love it. So just being open, and I'm gonna go.
And being able to entertain. I do. My
No,
life
I
is
mean
going
that
pretty good.
you're a good entertainer in that. Wow, I'm just gonna cut that part out after. I'm not used to not seeing you be funny, and I'm still absolutely captivated. So that's probably a more eloquent way of putting it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's my like things that I just people aren't going to learn necessarily on their own. Not everyone's going to go out and learn how to be an ally or know what's appropriate or not appropriate on their own all the time. So I like to talk about it so they can figure it out. Just helps other trans people, I think.
Yeah.
Probably. Plus, I'm like in a really good place in my life right now, so it's really it took all that stuff to build up and get where I am today, right? But
What's
so I like
one thing that you would want to tell anybody that, they say they didn't say they had questions or they weren't sure, or, what would you like to tell the, straight community? So like a fact about you or the transgender community that you wish that everybody knew.
Okay. To the straight and cisgender community, I would like to say, I accept you for who you are. Probably just a phase you're going through. No, it's what I would actually like to is that it's hard, all right. And if you think it's a choice, I'm telling you straight up, it ain't a choice. If it was, nobody would pick being transgender on purpose because it is extremely, extremely difficult. And if I had a choice, I wouldn't.
4 years ago, if you had a choice 4 years ago, wouldn't have been what it was.
No. I mean, now it's different because I'm like, yeah, this is cool. I'm way better. I had surgery. I am dating a very amazing person who I think is listening somewhere, maybe, just in case. She is. Becky, if you're listening, hey.
Hi,
See
Becky.
you on Friday. Yeah, yeah. Everybody say hi to Becky. I think she's listening, but she's really amazing, and like my quality of life has just gone up drastically since we've met. So that's pretty amazing. And
Okay.
I'm living in Edmonton now, which is really good. So it's a lot more central for me, a lot less traveling for comedy, which is nice. And I right before the COVID happened, I did some really big shows, right? Like I was in Vegas and LA and Just for Laughs and opening for Hannah Gatsby and all that stuff. So then I had to kind of like hit the brakes a bit for the COVID and the surgery. So now I'm like waiting patiently for it all to just like open up again so I can just jump back out.
When are you doing the audition for America's Got Talent?
I am waiting for. So there's an initial one that's like online in front of a panel, and then after that we'll get like a screen date to do. Depending on the state of the world and the COVID, will either be on the program on like a screen, I guess, or it'll be in person in LA. So don't really have the details until I do the initial one on January 23rd.
Awesome. Okay, well, what I'll do too is I can grab links and stuff too and post this when I put this up as well. So awesome. You have a good night, Cindy, and thank you very, very much for being here tonight. And I hate anybody that just trolled you on your face or on your TikTok.
It's okay. Very cool.
I'm going to go flip through all of their TikToks without watching any of them as soon as I'm done.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you later. Thank you.